G'day guys, welcome back to the Backyard Workshop DIY. Today I'm going to show you how to use your bandsaw to cut near perfect circles repeatedly with a simple homemade jig. But before we get started, don't forget, hit that subscribe button and tick that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload new videos. Let's get stuck into it. Okay, so guys, the first step's pretty simple. I've got my deck or my bed of my bandsaw here. I need to make something that can run in this miter track, which will help locate and keep my jig from moving around. So just grabbed an old bit of Tassie oak that fits nicely left to right. Obviously, we're way too tall, so we have to bring that down. But it's just a case of mark it up, jump over to the bench, and let's take this to the plane.
Now this part was pretty simple, just planing down till I reached the marks that I made when I had the runner in the miter slot, making sure I didn't go too far. Then I came back and ever so slightly chamfered the bottom corners just to help it slide more easily through that miter slot once it's on the table.
Okay, now what I need to do is work out where I'm actually going to mount this miter track runner in relation to the base. I'm using a piece of plywood for the base, but just for my own sake and because I want to make sure I've got maximum stability, even though I'm not going to be using this side of the deck for any of the cutting purposes, I'm actually going to run the full width of this table and also come out the side so I can do some larger ones. So we are looking at there or thereabouts for 260 there too. So that lets me know I need to pop my miter track runner on at 260 mil into the board, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're back over to the workbench. Couple of things, just using a piece of 10 mil ply as my base for this jig. Now, as I said before, I'm making this larger than it needs to be for a bit of stability, also to give me a wider range of options for doing some larger circles for some future projects I'm thinking about. But let's focus on getting this one done first. First of all, I've made sure that I have two square corners, so these three edges are perfectly square. The back edge will be a little bit out, but that's okay. It's only out by a couple of mil. So what I'll be doing now is, I said my runner needed to fall around that 260 mil mark, so mark there. Another mark up here somewhere. As I said, I've made sure this edge here is square, so I can mark out where this is going to sit. Okay, so being the 260, it'll sit just on the outside of there, and just inside here, so that's where it's going to sit. Now, I'm going to attach it using some Starbond CA glue. It means I'm going to put some gloves on, so we're back with you in a moment. Okay guys, appropriately PPE'd up, so flip that over, put some of this stuff on here. As I said, using the thin CA glue by Starbond. Flip that over and get that as close to that line as I can. Square and make sure I've kept it square. Need to hold it down for 10, 15, 20 seconds. It's pretty cold in my shop right now, so probably a bit longer. Now, because I'd rather spend the time using the jig than making the jig, I added a couple of screws to this just because really I don't have to remake it ever again, and I had some small 16 mil screws on hand, so they were going to do the trick.
Now a couple of things to be really careful of here is, one, when you're drilling your pilot holes, make sure we're not going all the way through, but also two, remember to come back and countersink those so your screws will not sit proud. Then getting them in and making sure the heads are clearly underneath or flush of that surface so you've got nothing to catch on as this slides through the miter slot.
Now we've got that firmly in place to slide in our miter slot. what I need to do is put a fence on the front here to catch us, stop sliding too far in. So I jumped over to the timber rack and I have this bit of, I think it's 12mm ply. It's about the right length, so yeah, 12mm ply. So all that'll be doing is we're attaching that flush there, just using some pin nails, and that's just to stop me over sliding going all the way through. Sorry guys, forgot to hit record on that one, but we have that front fence attached. Now we're going to jump over to the bandsaw for the next step. Okay, so we're over at the bandsaw. What we're going to be doing now is I'm just going to be running a cut through the base plate until I hit this stop block on the front of my table. Okay guys, so effectively what that last step has done is given us a clear indication of the point of cut, so that's where our blade sits. Now what I need to do is measure out this way to mark where I'm going to put our pinholes for the different size circles we want to be able to cut. Now a couple of important things to remember. One, when we're doing this, we are actually only doing doing half the width of our circle there. So when I pop my tape in there and come out this way, say for instance I want to do a really small, say 100mm circle, I'll need to mark that at 50. I want to do a 200, so on and so forth. I'm going to go through and mark a few and see how we go. Okay, so now that I've marked the distance from the cut, so I can get them all in a nice line with the point of cut, set my combination square for the depth. So okay, so now the way I'm going to drill these out and the way I'm actually going to locate my workpiece on the jig is going to be using a 5mm shelf pin. So I'm just going to quickly pull one of these apart. Now I know that's a bit big for some people and they may not want to have nice and easy anything that big, and to be honest I'll probably end up cutting that down, but at this stage for the couple of projects I've got on the go right here and now, I don't mind having that bigger hole. So with the shelf pin also comes the shelf pin drill bit. Let's go through. Okay guys, you probably can't see on the camera, I've marked out a couple of circles, sort of playing around with what size I wanted this to be, but I think I'm pretty certain. So ready to put my shelf pin hole in the centre. Now, because this is going to end up a clock, I'm going to drill all the way through to put a gear mechanism through. I don't mind having a nice big 5mm hole here.
With the locating pin in, it's time to head back over to the bandsaw and start seeing how the jig works. Now I have sped this up a little bit and I am cutting some really hard red gum in this video, but just nice and steady, and it spins nice and easily on that pivot point to give me a nice clean circle.
So there you have it guys, a simple homemade jig to make near perfect circles on a bandsaw. A little bit of time and effort, results are well worth it. Now, if you like this project and you want to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you get a notification each time I upload a video. Have a good one, guys.